Resources.
Can we start by asking you about this new radar that you're talking about? Apparently, we've been missing the mark with our radar when these atmospheric rivers come in.
Well, for folks in the Bay Area, we've been funding now a $19 million project called the Advanced Quantitative Precipitation Information Program. It's through the Integrated Water Management Program that DWR manages statewide. The good news is that all the general managers in the Bay Area are working in concert on this particular initiative. And it's designed to put 5 new next band radars throughout the Bay Area. Santa Clara has already put theirs in on top of their building, and there's 4 more to come throughout the Bay Area. These are designed to be focused at the 5,000 foot elevation level. The traditional radars are usually at 10,000, and that's sort of an anomaly that we've got to work on. But getting 5 radars up in the next year will allow us to actually aim at the atmospheric rivers that come in through the west. These are our extreme weather events. These are the systems that come in and wreak havoc in the Bay Area and cause flooding in particular. So for example, last year, you remember San Jose, Mayor Liccardo was so upset with Santa Clara Valley Water District. And I don't blame him, it's just that they didn't have these radars in, and had they probably could have helped him understand better where to evacuate, where to get people out of harm's way, avoid the millions of dollars of losses that ensued. And so we're taking proactive action to do this, and the AQPI project is a great collaboration. It's an example of water managers working together, supported by the Department of Water Resources, and it's a type of proactive step that we must make.
Can you give us the layman's explanation of how having these longer-term forecasts will help us increase our water supply?
Both increase our water supply and also protect us from flood. Managers throughout the state of California are having to manage with increased variable weather. So, for example, with atmospheric rivers coming in, where we get the lion's share of our rain, actually up to half of our rain during a year, they come in heavier and quicker, flashier systems. So, for example, I was just last week up at the top of Lake Oroville, which is the tallest dam in the United States. And last year, at the beginning of February, we experienced a spillway incident as a result of these atmospheric rivers. We had 2 of them that came in February. They were scheduled to be moderate. Unfortunately, we ended up coming up with Category 5 atmospheric rivers that dumped a volume of water we've never seen above Lake Oroville and contributed toward the cause of the spillway incident. So as a result, we were in the last 8 months trying to repair that facility, get it back for the winter to get it ready. And I'm so pleased to say that with thousands of man hours and personnel, DWR and Kiewit were able to put that facility back in action by November 1st. It was the 90th day on the job for me, so you can imagine these are people that came before me. I am just so proud that we're back to that stage. Nevertheless, the main message is, 1, public safety comes first, so we'll be managing that reservoir for the possibility of inclement weather and atmospheric rivers hitting us yet again, because we just don't know.
What does that mean in practical terms? When you say you're going to run the reservoir conservatively, what does that mean?
Oh, it means that we're going to bring the reservoir down to about 700 foot elevation when it should be around 9. You're looking at literally millions of dollars of water that will not be sold by Department of Water Resources and not available in case we have a dry winter, a dry summer. And so this is the era of vulnerability and variability, and we are doing everything we can to respond. And today's conference was actually an opportunity to educate other water managers throughout the state on where we're going with precipitation modeling, where we're going with forecasting. And I think the take-home message for me is right now we have a forecasting capability of about 70% 7 days out.
You mentioned Oroville. Do you want to finish that thought?
I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me repeat that.
Yeah.
Right now we have the forecasting capability that is about 70% accurate 7 days out. You would make a dam decision off of something like that. You would alter your flow patterns. When you take that out to 14 days, it's only 7% accurate. That is our problem. We have to narrow that gap. We've got to get a higher percentage of predictability out further beyond the 10 to 12 and beyond the time frame, and that's what today's conference is about.
And having those new radars and a longer-term forecast then will help you to maybe push a lake like Oroville closer to 900 without having to worry about another crisis?
Not this year. This year it's about making sure that we have another year's. I should make it really clear that Oroville has captured international attention Public safety is first. We're operating it in such a way in agreement with the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, the Division of Safety of Dams, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and DWR, all in agreement that we're going to keep it at the 700 level and step it up as we get closer in and know better what the weather patterns are going to look like. But, for example, years from now, when we have better capability, water managers, if they know that there are no atmospheric rivers in the horizon for 2 weeks out, they're going to hold your water supply back and save it for the summer when you need it most desperately. And the reverse is also true. If you knew atmospheric rivers were coming in, you'd begin to vacate your reservoir earlier and making room for the amount of rain that was going to come.
Do you have total confidence that the fixes that have gone in at Oroville could withstand, let's say, another winter like last winter?
Well, last winter was a historic winter on record. What I can say is by operating the reservoir as conservatively as we are, with public safety being the primary order a day, we can accommodate up to 100,000 acre feet safely on that new spillway. Now, I just said that the emergency spillway is still going to be under construction through the remainder of the year and into January, and the entire dam facility is going to be another year until it's back completely. So I don't like to be able to say 100% confident in anything. I'll just say that we've done everything we can to get that facility back into working order. We've taken the corrective measures, and that public safety is number one.
So what will be the immediate benefit of this new radar series? Will it be mostly about how much we're going to get, where we're going to get it, more advance warning, all of the above?
You know, we had about 46 atmospheric rivers take landfall on the west this last year. It was a record year in so many ways, and it caused tremendous havoc. I just mentioned the episode in San Jose that captured so much attention and drew the ire of Mayor Liccardo. We're all frustrated, and so getting these radars up on the ground at the 5,000-foot target are going to allow us to better measure where they're going to hit. The thing about atmospheric rivers we've come to learn is that they have a hard southern edge. They stall out, they sit on top of the southern edge. So when you know where that's going to be, you know then what the flow and the flood patterns are going to be, and you can get people out of harm's way, you can get cars out of harm's way, elevate computers, take the type of corrective action with the advanced information. So ultimately, we're going to make the Bay Area more secure. You're going to work with transportation corridors. You're going to work with schools. You're going to look at a first responder situation. This is what we're being called to act upon in an era of extreme weather.
We are with Adam Hutchinson. He is the Recharge Planning Manager for the Orange County Water District. Now, in this discussion of these longer-term forecasts, how does it apply practically to an agency like yours that struggles to maintain the right amount of water without flooding people or leaving them short when we're in a drought?
Right. Well, our agency is primarily water supply oriented, so the Corps of Engineers, they would be the ones to minimize the flood risk associated with any stormwater behind the dam. But once you're out of the risk of flooding, then there's the ability to store water safely for water supply. And that's what we do. We work carefully with the Corps of Engineers to store that small amount of water behind the dam. They release it slowly so we can recharge it into the aquifer and replenish our supply of groundwater.
Would this longer-term forecasting give you that opportunity to maybe keep more behind the dam?
Yes, absolutely. That's why we're doing this. So better forecasting will help the Corps with safety, public safety, making sure that they release water to prevent downstream flooding and harm to people, but also allow them to maybe store more water behind the dam for water supply and not unnecessarily release water that otherwise could be used for drinking water.
Yeah, and I think you hit on that when you were speaking to the group here, in that when that water has to be released, it just goes out into the ocean. So you're losing. What are you losing when you lose all that water?
Yes, every acre foot of water, which is the amount of water that covers a football field 1 foot deep, in Orange County is worth about $1,000. And so we capture about 50,000 acre feet of water behind the dam. That's $50 million worth of water every year that we capture. So, for example, in the 2010 year when they had to release 100,000 acre feet of water, if you could have captured that 100,000 acre feet, that's $100 million worth of water that we lost.
Well, let's say, how many homes would that have supplied?
Yeah, an acre foot supplies 2 homes for a year. And
so you're talking 200,000 homes, and
right.
Orange County is not exactly sparsely populated.
No.
I guess my bottom line question there is, how much of a difference would it have made in a drought like the one we just finished, or let's, God forbid, we get a worse one?
Well, to give you an example, Orange County, within our boundary, the total water demand is about 400,000 acre feet. So the amount of water they released in that 1 year was a quarter of the entire water demand for all of Orange County.
That's
A lot of water. So there's a lot of potential there too. So that's why we want to do forecast-informed operation, to really better capture those drops of water and not leave any water on the table that we don't have to.
How realistic do you think this is to be able to predict further out and make it useful for what you do?
You know, at the beginning I was a little bit skeptical, but in seeing how we have improved our ability to forecast the MJO phenomena that he talked about, the Madden-Julian oscillation, how over the years we've slowly improved our ability to capture that phenomenon, it gives me hope that as we start to put all these pieces together and really get all the smart people in the room and work together, that I think we can solve this problem.
All right, very good. Adam Hutchinson with the Orange County Water District. Thanks for taking a minute. I appreciate that.
Yeah.